So, in the very first episode of season 2, we get a character that was from season 1. In season 1, we had never had a reoccurring character. We get Dr. Minyak. He gets defeated. They fuck with him for a little bit. It's just a fine episode. They do one of the things that I had criticized in the first season already. And that is the fact that something gets sent down to the man cave. People shouldn't know where the man cave is. Why is this happening? I don't know why it bothers me, but it bothers me. That's just like such an easy mistake to avoid. I've never been a fan of romance in general. So I'm just gonna skip over these two-parters. This two-parter, I'll still talk about it real quick, but I'm not gonna do as much detail as I would other ones. Henry and the three girls. There's three girls that like Veronica, Chloe, and another girl. I'm pretty sure Veronica is the like fucking graffiti chick. I don't know. Chloe's only the one I really recognize, honestly. I don't know why. Maybe I saw her episode a lot as a kid since I watched cable back then. But Veronica, I think she's the graffiti chick. Anyways, it turns out like she's the mad granny. She's the person that's been attacking Captain Man, so she just gets arrested and we never see her again. Won't be surprised if we don't see her in any other upcoming seasons. I think that was just a way to write her off the show. And Henry ends up getting away with his little shitty plan because, of course, he does. Oh, and also Double G, I think was his name, from Game Shakers, plays the kid in the first episode that mind controls Charlotte. But he is the only character that was from another show that I recognized that appeared in this. Honestly, I don't really have anything to say about the fourth episode either. Henry's asked to be the basketball coach, and he does a good job, but the school board thinks he's being like too supportive or something. So he tells them to not let the parents clap in the audience and shit. It's a dumb episode. I didn't care for it. I don't know what they were going for. In the fifth episode, Captain Man goes out of town for his cousin's wedding, and he doesn't believe Henry and Charlotte can handle it by themselves, which they very much can, until Swaz messes it up and has like a big party. And, he's not supposed to have parties. But Swaz is like, well, Captain Man's not around. Who's going to stop me? Of course, that makes them miss a emergency alert. They end up doing it the next day. And they forget to save the people. So, like, a few days later, they learn out. They realize that they left the people in the freezer because of what Captain Man said. He was like, oh, they must have been so happy when you let them out the freezer finally. But he had not. I don't know why he didn't let him out the freezer first. He goes and stops Jeff first. The next episode's about the time jerker. We do see him again later. He's got a really cool design. He sends Henry back in time, so we get like this kind of Groundhog Day thing. But then they realize that he can't change the stuff that happens. So he has to end up redoing the day and let all the bad things happen. Pretty cool episode. I really liked it. In the next episode, Captain Man is obsessed with getting invited to this steak place because the only way to get in is invite from the restaurant owner only. So it's really, really exclusive. I don't know how they make money if the only way people get in is through invites and it's like so hard to get in. Who the fuck is he inviting then? People from out of town? People that aren't in Swellview? People that are in fucking Florida and they drive all the way there just for steak? How is this man staying in business? But let's move on. Of course, Henry gets a ticket because of something nice he did for the principal, and like she has connections via her cousin or something. I don't remember exactly what she says. But, she has connections. She gives Henry 2 tickets, and he wants to take Captain Man, his boss, because it's been like his dream or whatever, and we saw that in the beginning of the episode. But what Henry doesn't realize is that his girlfriend wants to go too. So, that causes problems. Eventually, they have to fight some people in the restaurant. As Henry and Captain Man, they forget that Henry and Captain Man weren't invited. They were. So they sit down and start eating their food, but it wasn't their food. So they didn't get to eat their food after all that trouble. And, the joke ends on a funny little moment where Henry's got a little piece of steak in his, suit. So they split it and they eat it. They don't even really like it, so they go to a different steak place. Pretty funny joke, but I don't get why they didn't just, ask to use the bathroom and then switch back or something. But I guess we wouldn't have had the ending joke then. Next episode, Jasper, he saves the day. Jasper's getting all the attention. Henry's a jealous little bitch. He ends up realizing he's kind of in the wrong. It's a fine episode. I didn't really care for this one. Next episode's a Christmas special. Captain Man ends up getting arrested for not wearing a hairnet. The show tries to act like that's just like a terrible thing. Like, it's just such a stupid law. I don't think health and safety is a stupid law. It's like washing your hands before you eat, wearing gloves for certain food that you're going to be touching a lot and serving to other people. I don't see anything wrong with wearing a hairnet, but because Jasper doesn't think Captain Man should be arrested, he's been saving lives, he's doing all this good stuff. He's gonna prove that the law is stupid by breaking a bunch of stupid laws. So, like, taking pictures of bunnies without permits and shit, and wearing 2 hats. Okay, it was a fine episode. It was pretty funny. There were some funny moments in prison. Charlotte's dad ends up getting... not Charlotte's dad. Henry and Piper's dad end up getting put in a different cell, so Captain Man tries to flirt with the mom for a bit. That reoccurring joke. I don't get why they go for that joke. I don't really care for it. But, they all end up in jail, and Piper gets to stay home and hang out and party with her friends. There's a 2-parter where Henry wants to be indestructible, but of course they decide not to go with that. Pretty predictable. So he gets like a negative side effect, which is breathing fire. They end up getting rid of the side effect, but also getting rid of him being indestructible. So this 2-parter is kind of pointless unless you wanted to see Henry indestructible. The next episode, they want to see what it looks like to transform into their costumes, because they never get to see it, so they decide to record it. But Charlotte had actually recorded it backwards. So it was the front-facing camera. She recorded herself instead of them. But they don't realize that. They send Henry accidentally sends it to Piper. So the whole thing, he's just trying to get her phone and delete it. It's a pretty funny episode. I don't know why he never checked the video in the first place. You'd think he would have watched it. But he doesn't watch it till like the episode's almost over, because obviously it's got to work for the comedy. I'm not criticizing it too much, but I don't get why he wouldn't have watched it after wanting to watch it that bad. As cool as Opposite Universes was, I was disappointed that they didn't have different suits. You're telling me this is one where they're villains and they don't have different suits? What about Henry and the Wall Dog episodes where Henry had a different suit? I would have really liked to see Henry in an evil suit in this episode, but they don't do it. And of course, Gooch is gone now. His last appearance was last season in the 14th episode. Would have been cool to see an evil version of him. Like, maybe an evil version of him would just be taunting the customers, like having his plant spit at them and shit. But he's just gone now, no explanation. It's a fine episode. The bad guys end up helping Henry and sending him back, they kinda might be good because they say they're gonna take baby steps to being good. I don't really believe it, but it might be true. We get Invisible Brad back, where Captain Man keeps tripping over things and shit, and he's just acting all kinds of strange. And they eventually realize that they think Invisible Brad is back, so they go to dig up his grave and realize nothing's there. It was Brad's plan all along, and he buries him in the grave. This is by far one of my favorite episodes. It's just so funny. Piper had got sent a driver's license by accident by the DMV, so she drives Jasper to go save them. And, they have to go save him. They take down Invisible Brad. I don't think this is his last appearance, so I'm pretty sure he has at least one more, if not more. So, really good episode. I always like Invisible Brad. Next episode has a Back to the Future reference. We get to see briefly Marty and Doc, not the actual actors, but we get to briefly see them because they're using the Time Jerker's machine to get a bird that is extinct feathers to cure Piper from oxpox that Swaj had accidentally given Piper by accidentally putting it in a cookie when he meant to put sugar in. Apparently they're the same color. It was a pretty funny episode. Henry wants to watch a boxing match with his boss Ray, Charlotte, and Swaj, but he has to stay with his uncle. But they realize that they still have Swaj's girlfriend, so they use her. She shapeshifts into Henry. She goes to the party instead. And the funny thing is, Henry never even gets to watch the boxing match. Him and Ray end up arguing over what color a cup is. And the boxing match ends up being really short, so they just completely miss it. And the TV messes up, so they can't back it up. And, now Swaj's girlfriend breaks up with him, so we probably won't see her again. I don't know why they wrote her out of the show, but not Gooch. Like, he was more of a recurring character. She was only in, one episode. But yeah, they write her out of the show. The next is a special with the Thundermans. It's mainly about Phoebe. None of the other Thundermans are in it besides Max, and he doesn't really do much. He works for the toddler and shit. We see a bunch of villains, including villains that we've never technically seen, like Drillfinger. With him, he had escaped jail. We never saw them take him down, and they interrogated the wrong guy thinking he was Drillfinger. So this is technically his first appearance as the actual Drillfinger. Pretty cool to see him. Of course, they take down the toddler or whatever. There's stuff throughout the episode that I didn't care for, where they tell you, oh, this is how they did it. Green screen. The ice cream was actually mashed potatoes. That's why it's not melting, etc., etc., etc. And they do that throughout the entire episode so much. It was so annoying. The final episode, Henry gets a note in his locker that says, "I know your secret." He assumes it means people know he's Kid Danger, but he finds out it's Jasper that knows the secret, and he transforms in front of him and stuff because he thinks whatever, Jasper already knows. But it turns out the secret Jasper knew was that Henry had went to go see a movie without him, even though they were supposed to go see it together. So now Jasper knows Henry's secret. So now Jasper will be a part of the crew in the reoccurring seasons. Can't wait to see that. I remember watching some episodes here and there with that, but honestly don't remember Jasper doing much once he found out Henry's identity. This was another episode that, was hyped all over on commercials that Jasper knew his secret now, and I was so excited to see it, and I still think this episode's pretty good.